Hello and welcome to the in-depth series of Drishti IAS. I am Pooja Dwivedi. As the National Party Congress of China is set to be held, we need to understand why Xi Jinping's coming to power is becoming unprecedented. As we know, India has faced many challenges since he came into power, and India might face the same kind of challenges in the future as well. We need to know about our neighbor, which helps a nuisance like Pakistan to stay a nuisance for India. So, without any further ado, let us begin with the topics that we are going to cover today. These are the many topics. First of all, we need to understand the political system of China, about the Communist Party of China that has been in power since the late 1940s, the National Party Congress, which is held every 5 years, what the Communist Party Congress means for China, what is done in this particular Congress, and why is it important? The rise of Xi Jinping, what could be expected if he continues to be the president, and of course the implications for India, and a question in the last. So moving ahead, let us first of all talk about the political system of China. The political system of China is a communist-based country. That means the means of production is not actually privately owned, but it is owned by the community. The benefit for all is the motive of communism, and it is a communist country. This country is officially known as People's Republic of China. This party, this system, we can say, not the party, the system was started in 1949 under the leader Mao Zedong. Okay, so remember, Mao started it. And here, no private ownership is there of the means of production. And the Communist Party of China to control, and the people work on behalf of the common good and not according to their own capitalist motives. So this is what China is according to its political system. And we might say that it is very different from how India works. Now, it is inspired, the Communist Party of China basically, who enforces this ideology, was inspired by the Russian Revolution. In 1921, this party was formed. The principles on which it is based on is Marxism and Leninism. These two entities were highly praising the communist system to be built. And like the countries, Cuba, North Korea, and Laos have this system, China has the same. So remember, these three countries also have the similar political system. The Communist Party of China were facing certain troubles. So it started ensuring that it does not face such troubles anymore since the 1990s, when technocratic capacity was increased. Technocratic means a government which is run by technical experts and industrialists. So technocratic capacity increased, and because of this, the Communist Party of China started getting rewards of globalization and economic development. They also lifted tens of millions of people out of poverty. As of 2021, you wouldn't believe that more than 96 million people are its members. You can say 30% of them are into agriculture and red collar workers. More and more people of the younger generation, that means less than 40 years of age, are becoming the members of Communist Party of China. That means they might share the similar ideology. 70%, of course, if we talk about, they are men, but more women are also growing closer to the Communist Party of China. National Party Congress that we are going to see to happen from 16th of October onwards, this particular Congress is held every 5 years. And it has the objectives of setting major policies and selecting top leaders and amending the constitution if need be. It selects the Central Committee and alternative other top leaders such as ministers, senior regulatory officials, provincial leaders, and even military officers. We also need to know that the Central Committee also is a kind of board of directors for the Communist Party of China, conducting plenums. Plenums are basically meetings that they conduct. It is known as plenums. It selects the Politburo, which can range from of course, right now we have 25 members in Politburo, and the Politburo then selects the Politburo Standing Committee. Then the Standing Committee has 5 to 9 people. This is the range, 5 to 9 people. And here Xi Jinping is at the top, and he is the party's general secretary. And Li Keqiang is the premier who heads the State Council, which is equivalent to the cabinet of ministers. He's expected to step down in 2023, while we cannot say such thing for, of course, Xi Jinping. Now, there is a precedent that has been set since 2002. What is that precedent? That the members of the Politburo have to step down once they complete 68 years of age. But no, not for Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping will be 69 this year, and he is likely to stay for a third term, which is another very important point. We will get to that. The actual governance of China is not very centralized. It is quite decentralized, and Chinese provinces, they enjoy significant autonomy. The central government, which chooses the sub-provincial officials and leaders, they have much control over the governance, over the local governance. All right. National Party Congress also talks about People's Liberation Army, which is technically the armed wing of the Communist Party of China. That means it is not for the country, but for the party, technically. And it protects the party's rule, one thing, protecting the party's rule, and second is defending the party's interest, not only in the country, but outside the country. It is the CCP's Central Military Commission, which takes into account whatever PLA is going to do. And this is also headed by Xi Jinping only. And it sees the PLA and the People's Armed Police, both People's Liberation Army and then Armed Police, which is for internal security. So whatever deployment of forces, warships have to take place in South China and East China Sea, which is quite disputed. And of course, they go by the name of Nine Dash Line, under which they claim the territorial integrity of the South and East China Sea. It is also overseen by PLA and also the current issue by Taiwan. Moving ahead, let us talk about the rise of Xi Jinping. Now, on September 25 this year, there was an announcement by CCP that they have chosen 2296 delegates to be present in the party. More so, in the Communists, more so it is also known as a rubber stamp, because Xi Jinping is the core of this party, and whatever he says is going to happen doesn't matter. There will just be a stamp from the Congress. This is the 20th Congress this year. Okay, so right now it's going to be the 20th Congress, and it is going to break 30-year precedent. How? First of all, she is not going anywhere, although there is a kind of convention that a person who has completed 68 years of age has to step down from the Politburo. That is not going to happen. Another very important precedent that is going to be broken is there is a serving time for the president in China that is limited to 2 terms, but Xi Jinping is going to have it for 3 terms. General Secretary of the Communist Party, Xi Jinping was selected as that in 2012, and his purpose to come here was to reinstate regular democratic sessions and fellow leaders in the 25-member Politburo. And he also restored the practice marked by a small but symbolic example in which the officials had to self-criticize themselves in front of Xi Jinping. And this is just a small but a symbolic gesture since the time of Mao Zedong. So he reinstated that. Now, if we talk about prior the General Secretary post, he was elevated to the Politburo Standing Committee in 2007. And very interestingly, he was seen as a continuation of his father's ideology. His father had helped Deng Xiaoping to implement China's landmark reforms. And even you see that back then, the West also thought that Xi Jinping is going to reform the system of China. But boy oh boy, that did not help. Party squarely back into the center of life in China. That means this was the main motive of Xi Jinping when he came into power. And that was when he was elevated to the Politburo Standing Committee. So this was one of the core. And what he did that. He did that for sure. And he also made himself the core of the party. The party to be the core of the nation, and then him to be the core of the party. And 4.7 million officials since then have been investigated on charges of corruption under Xi as of April 2022. The most important one of them stands the former Chongqing Party's chief Bo Xai. So he has also ensured that actual dissent is not there. How? He has made certain changes, like dissent is not going to take place. He crushed dissent, forbade disrespectful discussions about the party among members, so you cannot say anything about the party. All comments critical of Xi were scrubbed from the internet. In 2016, he made himself the core of the party. And then in 2018, he ditched the 2-term limit on the presidency and continues to reign. Moving ahead, let us talk about very important reasons why he's becoming the core of the entire country. 19th Congress. At the 19th Congress, Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. This is the ideology of Xi Jinping. It was added to the constitution. Only other two general secretaries have that, Mao Zedong and Deng Xiaoping. Only these two, other than Xi Jinping, have their ideologies inscribed in the constitution. And it likely indicates even more centralization of power in the coming term. That means his ideology is included in the constitution now. Moving ahead, Xi right now has prioritized since last many years, we see security and of course the tenacious natures of Xi Jinping's Communist Party when we talk about the LAC region and South and East China Sea, expansion of states' economic role, strengthening the military, and more assertive foreign policy, also intensify pressure to seize Taiwan. We can see these as manifestations of his basic ideology. Now, right now in the Congress, National Party Congress, what we can see to be coming in the recent days. On the policy front, there won't be any change. There will be continuity, that's for sure. In which common prosperity is the goal. That means there, of course, will be the continuation of the current ideology. All the people should get what they deserve according to communism, reduce inequality, as well as addressing any monopolies, specifically in terms of technology and industry. Dual circulation is to be given more respect in domestic market. Specifically, if we talk about self-sufficiency, this is going to be one of the core policies that we will see. Moving ahead, now a strong central authority was always the need of China. Such a big country, we need a big boss according to certain, you can say, justifications what China has for Xi Jinping, that it's a big country and diverse country. We need a strong central, tendency, a person who has a strong centralizing tendency, and also preventing chaos. They see that they have succeeded in doing so. How? Because China has succeeded at poverty elevation and its efficiency at building infrastructure, organizing huge events such as Winter Olympics, and effectiveness at extinguishing COVID outbreaks. This is one of the reasons, these are few of the reasons that the Chinese say that Xi Jinping is perfect for their country. Now, it is expected that because his zero COVID policies are getting a lot of backlash in the country, it might be that he will be more compromising in a third term, more humble. Let us see what is going to happen. And currently, as the economy is not doing great, so he might be humbled because of that. This is what is expected according to some analysts. But implications for India are not going to change, not in the near future. Because as we know, PLA is the technically it's the military arm of the Communist Party of China. And Indian army is not seeing eye to eye on many matters in the LAC. So this is going to increase. First of all, if not increase, it will remain the same. Economic situations may remain the same for India until and unless the normalcy is restored at the LAC. Economic conditions cannot be, fulfilled along with India and China's cooperation in this region. We need to understand neither India can ignore China's importance in the economic spheres, nor China can do so. Apart from that, role in multilateral institutes, such as we know, China is a member of the P5 in the UNSC, and India has time and again has said that we want a reformed UNSC. 4 out of 5 members of Permanent 5 support India's bid for permanent membership with veto in the UNSC, but China is not nodding for it. Although it has said in the recent past that it will say yes to India's bid next year, but who knows about China. Moving ahead, let us talk about this question. The 9-9, often seen in the news, refers to which of the following? A spacecraft, a map, an app, a car. So you have to tell that in the comment segment. That's it. Thank you so much for watching and stay updated.